Okay. Okay. Are you ready? Okay, tonight's story, I'm going to tell you something about when I was little, and I had forgotten all about this. But when I was a little bit older than you, I was starting first grade, so I had already finished kindergarten. And then when you went to kindergarten this year, I thought, I was thinking about it, and it reminded me of when I was in first grade. And so I went there. It was my first day of school, and we had a new teacher. And his name was Mr. Lizard. And everybody kind of giggled because we walked in the class and he wrote Mr. Lizard on the board, and everybody went, hee 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 hee, he's a lizard. And he was kind of peculiar looking. He had purple glasses. The frame was purple. And he had a purple ruler in his shirt, in the pocket of his shirt. We just thought that was kind of weird. And he said, now, class.
What's a ruler?
A ruler, you know what a ruler is, where a straight thing that we use to measure paper when we cut it and things like that. Yeah, you have one. And so anyway, he's like, now, class, settle down. And then he said, I'm going to hand these books out and we'll get started. So he goes around handing the books out, and there was like 25 kids in the class. And he got to me. I was about the 20th kid, I think.
There's 24 kids.
Oh, well, it's just like your class then, huh?
24 kids in mine.
Well, there were 25 in mine. And so he gets to me.
Same as you.
Pardon me?
You find it was the same as yours.
You think it was the same as
I
mine?
remember correctly.
Yeah? I misunderstood. You thought it was the same number?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 24? Is that what you're
No,
asking?
it's 25.
Oh, okay.
Instead, I'm the 25th.
I see. There's 24 other. Oh, well, that makes perfect sense. Okay. So he gets to me, and he was out of books. I guess he had only 20 books, and I was a little bit sad. And there's 4 other kids behind me, and they were a little sad. They're like, "Well, what are we supposed to do?" He goes, "Well, it appears we're a little short here." And I turned around to look at the other kids, and then I turned back, and he had 5 more books in his hand. And I thought, didn't he just run out of books? That's really strange. And so, I thought it was kind of strange. I didn't think too much about it, but we got our books, we did our class, and then we were walking out of class, and I looked at my buddy. I said, is there something weird about Mr. Lizard? And he said, yeah, I thought so too. And then we just kind of shrugged our shoulders and walked on. Now that was on Monday. On Tuesday, we come into the class, and everything seemed, quite normal. He was teaching us. And then we went out for recess to play basketball. And we were throwing the ball around, and we were trying to make the baskets, and one of the kids threw it up to make a basket, and it got stuck right at the top of the basket. It just stuck. And not like in the basket itself, but where the metal is. It got stuck between the backboard and the metal. And all the kids were like, "Oh man, we can't play now." And one of the teachers came over, and they're like, "What happened?" And we said, "The ball is stuck," and she couldn't get it out. She was trying to jump up there. She couldn't get it. And then finally, Mr. Lizard comes up, and he goes, "What seems to be the problem here?" And we said, "The ball is stuck, and nobody can get it out, and our teachers couldn't even get it out. Our other teachers couldn't even get it out." And he said, "Which ball? That ball?" And right when he pointed at it, it just fell right down to the ground. And I looked at my friend, and I thought, that's peculiar. That's very strange. And so we went back inside and finished the day, and we were walking home from school, and I said, what did you think today about what happened? He said, "I don't think Mr. Lizard is a teacher at all." I said, "What do you think he is?" He said, "I don't know, but he's a weird person."
I think he's a lizard.
Anyway, so Well, I hope we'll find out. What do you think? So anyway, the week kind of passes by, and he just does these weird things. And on Friday, we come in and we're all just wondering what's going to happen. Well, Thursday, there wasn't really much going on. And we thought, okay, maybe we're just making this up. And, he's just a normal person since nothing happened on Thursday. So Friday, we get in and we barely got started on our class. And it was maybe about a half hour in when all of a sudden we hear this rumble, a really loud rumble, and the ground started to shake. And all the kids were a little frightened, quite honestly. And Mr. Lizard looked up, and his ears kind of perked up, like, what is that noise? And then, right in the wall, a big hole opened up, and out of the hole pours trolls. Oh, man. And I looked at my friend and I thought trolls were make-believe. Oh, what's going on here? And right behind them, do you want it not to be scary? Huh?
I do.
Okay. Behind the trolls, there were goblins. And Mr. Lizard recognized one of the goblins as one of the flatulent goblins of Westerville. And we thought, how could he know about the flatulent goblins of Westerville? And at that moment, Mr. Lizard pulled the purple ruler out of his shirt pocket and brought it up into the air like this. And it turned into a long staff with a big, shiny jewel at the top of the staff. And from that jewel, light started shooting out in all areas, just rays of light. And he looked at me and he said, "A little help here?" And I said, "What do you want me to do?" And he goes, "Well, for starters, you're going to need a suit of armor." And he waved his wand, and I had a suit of armor on and a shield and a sword, and it was awesome. And he said, "Now, all you need to do is say the magic words to each one." And I said, "Okay, great. What are the magic words?" And he said, "Well, abracadabra turns them into a bunny, and hocus pocus turns them into a tree." And so I thought about that.
Hocus pocus.
Well, I thought about it, and I ran over to the first troll, and I said, and I got so nervous, I said, "Hocus cadabra," which, then he turned into a tree with bunny ears. It was so crazy. And then I'm like, no, wait. And I ran to the next one. I'm like, abracapocus. And then it turns into a bunny with like roots on its feet. And I was like, well, whatever, it's working. And then I figured it out, and I was like, abracadabra, hocus pocus. And they're all just poof, 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 poof. Meanwhile, Mr. Lizard's over there just waving his wand, and there were hundreds of them. We're all just battling and fighting all these trolls and goblins. And the goblins were funny because when they turned into a bunny or a tree, they kind of went and then turned into it, because I guess the flatulent goblins and all that. And so we're battling, and I didn't even notice that the classroom wasn't even around us. We weren't even at the school. We were in some kind of crazy forest land battling all these trolls and goblins, and poof, poof, hocus pocus, abracapocus, pocus cadabra, and half bunny, half tree. It was just the weirdest thing. And finally, we won the battle. Whew. And I looked over at him and I'm like, that was crazy. He goes, "You're telling me the last time this happened, the goblins farted so much we couldn't even smell. You did great." And I said, "Thank you." I said, "Where are we?" He said, "I don't know, but we'd better get back." And so he waves his wand, and boom, we were back in class like it had never happened. I was sitting at my desk. He was writing on the board about our lesson. But all of the students in there were looking around the room like, what just happened? And he just turned around and looked at me and gave me a wink. And after the end of the day, we all walked out, and I looked at my friend and he said, you know what? I don't think Mr. Lizard is a teacher at all. I think he's a wizard. And I looked at my friend and I said, no, he's definitely a teacher. And that was it. And we walked on. The end.
He is a wizard.
You think he was? I think you're right. Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't have said he's a wizard.
Shouldn't have. Yeah, maybe he just misspelled his name. I don't know. Maybe he was in disguise. You want to say goodnight?
Like Pete, 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 Pete,